Take it all out on your stride. It is taking, falling down. Love forever, love is free. Let's turn forever.
Hi, and welcome to the History of Rotary Scout Reservation. I'm your host, Ed Keelan, and I'll be taking you through a history of the camp. In this episode, we move into the 21st century, aka the Brian Murray epic. To really understand the last 20 years, we'll need to look at some different camp directors. Most, if not all camp directors, view the camp and all the people involved as family. Family, of course, does not always get along. Camp director Joe Grizz Uline was like the family patriarch who everyone respected. Don Fremont was the fun uncle who everyone liked and as such would listen to. I, on the other hand, was more the obnoxious cousin who takes everything way too personally and can't keep their mouth closed during family gatherings. In the words of Dr. Sheldon Cooper, then came former Boyhaven camp director Doug Leninger. Doug could diffuse any situation with his calm demeanor. Although Doug also viewed camp as family, he brought the idea of customer service to the camp. Rather than one big family, the staff were employees, and leaders and scouts were customers. Doug would be the first director in the 2000s and was scheduled to be the first director of the new millennium. He was unable to come back in 2001, however, and his program director, Brian Murray, became camp director. Brian would continue this emphasis on customer service and provided, and still provides, a level-headed and analytical approach to improving the camp and its program. What we'll see happen in the next two episodes has much to do with Brian as camp director, a talented and innovative camp ranger, Joel Uline, and a camp-oriented council executive named Rich Stockton. So, let's see what changed in the 2000s. Many of the changes revolved around the Wednesday family night. The barbecue had fizzled out since its heyday in the 80s, but a new cook, Paul Borotensky, brought one of his talents to camp. That was a pig roast. Paul would start cooking the pigs at 5 a.m. and would turn it slowly all day long out behind the kitchen for everyone to see. People came out of the woodwork, and the barbecue became popular once again. When Paul left Rotary, however, he had to figure out a way to keep the pig roast going. It was expected now. The new cook had never done one. As the person who took over the chicken cooking from Grizz, it kind of fell on me to help. The first pig roast without Paul was an interesting one to say the least. I didn't know our cook had never done one before. It was pouring rain, and he had me out cutting 1-inch spars for some reason. Then he told me to lash them together diagonally. The pigs had been butterflied, and then I was supposed to lash the pigs to the spars so we could flip them. When the cook said, "This is a lot of work for a pot roast," I couldn't disagree. This fiasco lasted a couple of weeks before the cook quit. Camp Ranger Joel Uline had always said there was no, expletive deleted, way he was cooking chickens like his father had for so many years. Well, he didn't have to. He became the chief pig cooker, and we developed a technique that we are still using today. Along with the pig roasts, the barbecue developed a themed program. One of the first was a pirate theme that included converting the barbecue pit into the charcoal frigate. The staff would dress according to the theme, and a campwide game was played based on the theme as well. This continued for several years. Unfortunately, beloved camp director and camp ranger Joe Grizz Uline passed away in 2007. Donations for camp poured in and allowed us to build the Joe Grizz Uline picnic area pavilions. This changed the barbecue significantly as well. No more cooking in the rain under hastily strung up tarps full of holes. And finally, an outdoor eating area and multi-purpose shelter. A separate video in this series exists just on this topic if you want to know more about it. Not all the changes revolved around the barbecue. The events of 9/11 resulted in the creation of the Community Safety Program. This program brought emergency preparedness, safety, first aid, fingerprinting, and search and rescue merit badges to Rotary. The BSA also adopted new COPE standards. This meant that our relatively new COPE course was no longer compliant. A new course needed to be built. The Cayuga campsite was closed, and the new course was built at that site. This also got the course out of the blazing hot sun of the parking lot. Verizon, including a road crew to control all the traffic in Cayuga, put the poles in, and Camp Ranger Joel Uline built his second COPE course. Janet Keelan would again be the first director on the new course that included a cargo net, a skywalk, a pirate's crossing, a giant's ladder, a vertical playpen, a 2-line traverse and a 3-line traverse, a mush line, a beam, and a multi-vine traverse. The popular zip line was included as well. Now, if you're keeping track, this means the names Cayuga, Huron, and Mohican are all available to be used in the future. One of the more interesting changes in the 2000s was the installation of a basketball court near the dining hall. The asphalt doctor put in a paved surface and a basketball hoop was erected. This simple and incredibly popular program has scouts on it virtually all day long during the summer, and most weekends as well, usually playing knockout. At Chillicothe, a new Dutch-style forge and forge building were built. It took multiple summers to complete as scouts, scouters, and staff did the construction. The final change was not really planned. A storm had brought down some trees at the chapel, and one of the trees knocked the building off its piers. Several ideas were tried to make the repairs, but ultimately, the building was taken down and replaced with the simple dais we use now. So the new millennium started off with a bang. The many changes resulted in steadily rising attendance for many years to come. In our final episode, we look at the 2010s and beyond as we get ready to celebrate RSR's 100th anniversary in 2022. Until then.